Dawkins schooled by Tyson. Teacher versus preacher. If you don't know Richard Dawkins, he's an evolutionary biologist who is best known for his atheism. He grew up religious, but when he discovered Darwin, he became a very vocal anti-religion and atheist. He's written a few best-selling books, like The Selfish Gene, in which he draws attention to genes rather than organism as an evolutionary driving force, and The God Delusion, arguing that God doesn't exist, and those who believe in its existence are deluded. But these days he is best known for his headbutting with religious people and promoting rational thinking and science-based atheism. In this video, I'll try to show that Richard Dawkins, despite his claim to rationality, is somewhat irrational in his approach towards religious people. Okay, let's begin. 1. He's a bad scientist. Humans have believed in gods for thousands of years in every culture. Evolutionary atheists are staggered why so many people believe in religion and are very angry at them. But I think they should put their biologist hats on and study. A scientist will try to understand if there's a gene or a need for it that makes you sleep at night. You never see him attack chimps and other animals for their ways. Who knows, chimps believe in all kinds of rubbish. Doctors understand placebo. Perhaps dogmatic beliefs are a defense mechanism, hardwired in the human brain. Tinnitus, or ringing in ear, is a condition in which our brain creates noise that does not exist. People who suffer find it really annoying, but nothing you can do about it. Atheists don't understand why millions of people still believe in superstitions. Scientists don't attack lab mice, they study them. Here's what Dawkins says.
Who cares what feels good? Who cares what makes you feel comforted? Who cares what helps you sleep at nights? What matters is what's true.
Well, religion is a kind of free therapy or drug that anyone can afford. If Dawkins can't sleep at night, he has money to pay for a therapist. Billions of people can't do that. Therefore, they are idiots. Or maybe Dawkins wants to start a therapy center. The more people leave religions, the better his business. He's an entrepreneur, a moral businessman. Psychotherapy in Europe coincided with Darwinian challenge to religious worldview. Freud came soon after Darwin. He's well known not because he is a great biologist. There are many greater biologists out there, but they are not ideological and political enough to be known. He was bored of biology, so he started ideological discussions. Only idiots debate with religious crazies. The rational man is officially an idiot, because as Nietzsche said, there's method in every madness. Dawkins wants to be famous. He wants to be God. In Europe during Enlightenment, philosophers rejected God and replaced it with humans. Dawkins wants to be God himself. If more people leave religions and come to him, the better he feels. We all need followers, subscribers. The more, the better we feel. We all suffer from God syndrome. So Richard Dawkins is not unique. Maybe it's time he accepted his dream of becoming God. He's already God among some, but he wants to be a bigger God. Billions of people still need to be converted to Dawkinism. 3. He's a rational extremist. Dawkins' goal is for everyone to be rational all the time. Rationality makes our lives easier and survival possible. What rationality cannot do is make us happy or answer our deeper questions. For some, it does, but not for everyone. Being rational all the time makes us feel rigid. We are animals. We like to fart sometimes. We fall in love. We write poetry. We paint. In evolution, sex is combined with pleasure to encourage reproduction. We watch porn and have sex with condoms. These are irrational. We cry and commit violence. These emotions strike us at any time. Sometimes we are lucky to have time to assess and take measured approach, but sometimes we aren't privileged enough to be rational. Rationality brings food on the table, but it's our emotions that makes us happy and miserable. Our emotions produce beautiful art and terrible violence. To push someone to be rational all the time is an extreme demand. Dawkins pushes a form of rational extremism. His goal is to make us all rational machines, only believe in what's real, extinguish your imaginations. 4. He is deeply emotional himself. The rational man is pretty rational when it comes to treating others. He uses the words like religious people are idiots, or I don't care if they can sleep at night. He says scientists who are good at their work but believes in God should be fired from their work.
And this man writes learned articles in astronomical learned journals, mathematical papers, and the mathematics is premised on the belief that the world is that the universe is between 13 and 14 billion years old. He privately believes the world is only 6,000 years old. Well, you may be tolerant of that because you may say, well, as long as he gets his sums right, as long as his paper is well...
The research paper, yeah.
Right. I would say that man should be fired. He should not be a professor of astrophysics in an American university. And that we might differ about that because you might say, his private beliefs are private, they're nothing to do with me. If he does his astronomy right, then that's okay.
Yeah, I agree with you that that's how I would react. Yeah, what he does at home on Sunday, that's his own thing. But if it doesn't enter the science classroom...
You can feel his resentment, anger, and outrage at people who disagree with him. If you compare him to Neil deGrasse Tyson in how they communicate, you understand why one has 1.5 million subscribers and the other has 500,000. So on the surface, Dawkins is demanding people to be rational, but he's deeply emotional himself and trying to convert people. There's a religious preacher inside him. Also, his unshakable belief that being atheist is inherently better than religious can be characterized as dogmatic. He's driven by a deep undercurrent of emotion. 5. He is an attention seeker. His combative approach to educating people is a calculated one. These days, if you want people to listen to you, you should shout as loud as possible, unless you're smart enough to find newer or clever ways to get people's attention. Dawkins likes the attention more than putting his message across. This unscientific approach is working for him. He's by far the most famous evolutionary biologist after Darwin. We all know if you call people idiots, they will not listen to you. He likes to steer things more than educate. This fits nicely with his God syndrome. 6. He lacks empathy. When Neil deGrasse Tyson tells him a story about a family member seeing the ghost of a loved one, Dawkins' first reaction is that person is lying. But Tyson's approach to ask questions.
And how would you have handled this case, right? I have a relative, right, whose father died. She's alone in the room with her father. The father is dead in a half-open casket. Her father sat up and she had a conversation with him. And I said, well, what transpired? And she said, well, he said, don't worry, I'm in a better place. And she said, I'm glad, we're sad you're gone, but I'm glad to hear. What would you, so if I could ask, what would you have done?
I mean, I'm genuinely curious as to, do you think she was lying? Do you think she had a hallucination?
Here's what I did. I said, next time this happens, ask him questions that could be really useful on this side of that barrier. Like, where are you?
Yes.
Are you wearing clothes?
Yes.
Where did you get the clothes? Okay. Is there money where you are? Is there, what's the weather like?
Yes.
Who else is there?
Yes.
How old are you there?
Yes.
In your mind's eye, are you young or are you old? Is grandma there?
Yes.
How old is she? If grandma's where she is, would she make herself old or would she be young again? And so now she's got her own little experiment that she's going to try. Next time dead people sit up and talk to her.
He has a fixed view of things, therefore judges others accordingly. Atheism is a label. You put that on others, you know who they are without asking you questions. This is the definition of dogmatic ideology. Tyson's approach to educating others is to show them, while Dawkins' approach is to preach. He fails to understand that billions of people might have a valid reason to rely on religion for meaning in their lives, when everything else fails. We know religious beliefs is strongest among the poorest. He thinks they're stupid. I wonder if Dawkins himself ever visit a therapist. Can he imagine that millions of people don't have the same privilege? I think he either has no empathy or he deliberately tries to ignore it.
I didn't care how real she thought it was. What I cared was that I gave her tools, I think. I gave her tools so that the next time this happens, she can separate an objective reality from what might have been in her mind.
Yes.
And then she arrives at that conclusion herself, not by me telling her she's hallucinating.
7. He bears remnant of cultural imperialism. Richard Dawkins is British. He loves Darwin. A little bit too much. Sure, Darwin is a brilliant biologist. But the way Dawkins talks about the man, one feels he's a bit nostalgic of the British Empire as a whole. Darwin exploited the means the British Empire allowed him to travel the world to study animals. That's fair enough, but one can feel a hint of imperialism in Richard Dawkins' approach. He's a man on a mission, like the old school colonial preachers with their Bible traveling the world to convert them to Christianity. No wonder he's made Islamic world his target, because it's a hot topic, get him attention, and also it coincides with the Western discourse on Islam. I'm not a big fan of any organized religion, but at the same time, if someone believes in a religion who doesn't interfere with others, it is not my business to tell them they're idiots. He is a bit condescending. Even the foundation is like a church that welcomes priests. My suggestion to Dawkins is to teach people about biology and evolution and how beautiful it is. Answer people's questions. You can see a genuine thirst for knowledge in Tyson and a kind of ruthlessness in Dawkins. 30% of scientists believe in God, yet he calls them traitors without engaging with them. Now, the main reason he is so preachy and so vehemently and diabolically against religion is that he was converted to atheism after reading Darwin. Perhaps his anger, resentment stems from his past. Tyson grew up in a more chilled religious family, so his approach is more chilled. Take it easy, Mr. Dawkins. Unless you want to sell more books, getting rich. Show people the beauty and wonder of science, that is education. Tell them that believing in God and religion is stupid, that is preaching them to join your church. I say show the beauty of evolution biology, they will listen to you. Show, don't tell. I choose Neil deGrasse Tyson to be my teacher any day of the week. How about you? Thank you for watching.